We're here today to talk about Power Rangers The Return, volume or issue number 2. We also talked about issue number 1 earlier on this same feed. So if you can check that out, I'll probably leave a link in the show notes, in the description, in the comments, wherever it's at. You can check out our first review of Power Rangers The Return. I am joined once again by Mr. Tim Costello. Hello, sir.
Hello.
And Shaw. Shaw, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't know if everybody's excited to see me, but I'm excited to see me, and that's what counts.
Yeah. Well,
We're
I'm
excited
excited.
to see you.
Tim's excited. You're excited. Everybody's excited. And I think, Shaw, you know what time it is.
Ooh, I think I do. But does Super Tim know what time it is?
I do know what time it is. It's morphin time.
Tell him, Tim.
Office.
Okay. Winged lemur.
Fluffy backed tit babbler.
What? What, Shaw? What, Lorraine? What?
You can always trust that bird species names are gonna have some wild ones. And I found fluffy backed tit babbler.
Wow. I wonder the origin of that, but
yes,
maybe that'll be a future Ranger, Shaw.
I hope so.
All right. Well, we're talking, like I said, Power Rangers The Return. And I wanted to shout out the creative team once again, as we talked on the last issue. Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson doing the story. Illustrations by Nico Leon and colors by Dono Sanchez Alamarero and letters by Ed Dukeshire. Great team that they've assembled here for Power Rangers The Return.
Dan Mora doing the character designs once again.
That's correct. Dan Mora. I would say my two favorite artists right now working today. Oh, balloons.
Get those balloons out of there, Vactor.
Dan Mora. Same thing to me on Zoom yesterday.
Yeah, Apple. What are you doing? Apple. Apple. What are they called? I don't know. Not emojis, but video emojis. Anyways, I don't know. Dan Mora and Bruno Redondo. Those are my two favorite artists working today in comics. But Tim, once again, you are the one who brought this to our attention, this Power Rangers The Return, the Pink Ranger coming back and doing a new story in the Power Rangers universe. Why don't you tell us, what was issue 2 about? Give us a little breakdown.
Issue 2 about, like, what issue 2 was about, like, it starts off with like 22 years ago, when the Rangers decided to take the fight to Rita and Zedd after they, nuked the command center, which is in the 30th anniversary story where that happened. And then we get, flash forward. We'll talk about more what happened in the flashback a little later. We flash forward to Kimberly and Selena, Trini's niece, if I recall correctly. And then stuff happens, and then we get the appearance of Tommy and Kimberly's daughter Olivia at the end of the issue. So, and the next issue is called Daughter. So I have thoughts.
Oh wow, man! I can't wait to talk about that. Shaw, what did you think about this second issue of Power Rangers: The Return?
Hated it. No, just kidding. I loved it. I loved it. It was
another poop session from Shaw.
Yeah, this was terrible. Don't read this crap. No, it was excellent. I actually think it might even have been. I can't say it was better than the first issue. The first issue was hard to beat, but it was right in alignment, I think, with the overall like enjoyment factor. The big battle happening on the moon was really cool to see unfold with the Zords and just like thousands upon thousands of putties.
Both varieties too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all the other like minions as well. Although I have a question, and maybe this is better suited for Tim, our Power Rangers expert. There is a character like on one of the first pages. She's standing next to Goldar. They're all cheersing, and she's got what looks like some kind of I don't know, like a snake like type thing on her head. I don't know her name. I don't remember her from the show.
Hang on, let me pull up the issue here. What page was that on?
It was the first page, actually. She's like saying,
Rita's...
to the death of Zordon and his annoying butler, robot butler, and she's cheersing.
That's Scorpina.
Scorpina. Okay.
Yeah, that's Scorpina.
I don't know anything about her character.
She made her first appearance in Green with Evil, the 5-parter that Tommy first appeared in.
Oh, really? Okay.
But then they didn't, as is the case with all Power Rangers stuff, they didn't have the footage. So she kind of appears, and then they were going to bring her back in season 2. Yeah, there she is. They were going to bring her back in season 2, and they did, but then they didn't do anything more with her. So she's kind of been in and out of the show, but she's been a big part of the comics in the main run. She's a ranger now in the line. Yeah.
Hey, well, this is why we have Tim here. He is our Power Rangers expert. He is the one to go to whenever we want to find out the Power Rangers lore. So that's why we got our boy Tim Costello here. Yeah, I really enjoyed this issue as well. Just like Shoff, I think the first one to me was a great start and a great kind of introduction to this future timeline, this future universe. Then this was a good continuation to see what was going on. And the moment between Tommy and Kimberly, that they're on the moon and they're about to sacrifice themselves, really nice, heartfelt moment. But I was trying to figure out, and I text him when I was reading this, and I said, so Tommy turned to her and he goes, "You know why we can't do this?" And I was like, "No, I don't. Tell me, Tommy, why can't
I can
we
guess.
both save each other?" And Tim, did you have I can't remember. Did you have a response to that, or what was your thoughts on?
I can't remember what I said. It was so forever ago.
Sean, you have something locked and loaded.
I do.
Sean's got something. Go ahead.
Well, so they establish in this sort of flashback that it's 22 years ago, right? And we've already established that in this 22 years ago, they were married, or at least engaged. They show the rings on Kimberly's finger. They have that moment, and you're right. Tommy's like, "You know why you can't stay back here? It's because she's prego."
Oh, yes. Perfect.
So, and that would make sense because the next issue, as Tim alluded to, is about daughters, and the daughter does appear at the tail end of issue 2, and she looks like she could be 22 years old. So that would not be so strange, especially since at the end of this issue, spoilers, it kind of seems like we're getting Rita and Lord Zedd's kid as well. Isn't her name Serena or something like that?
Yeah, I have some things about that relate to the mythology for that. If you want me to talk about that, if we're going to talk about that now,
tell us, Tim.
Do it.
In Operation Overdrive, there was a crossover special that was celebrating, I think, the 20th anniversary of Power Rangers. Maybe it was 15. I can't remember which one. It's called Once a Ranger. Johnny on Bosch, who plays Adam, was there, along with some of the other Rangers that were around that time where Disney was owning Power Rangers. And in it, the villain was also a child of Lord Zedd and Rita, but this time it was their son, and his name was Thrax. So there is evidence in the Power Rangers mythology for Zedd and Rita to have a child. So I was very surprised when the issue went in this direction, that we're doing this now.
I'm glad she doesn't look anything like Zedd, though. We don't need her looking like a red ball sack. Okay.
It resembled more Zedd than Rita.
Oh, Thrax did?
Thrax did, yeah.
Okay, I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, but yeah, no, she looks like a young Rita, for sure, and definitely has the wand and everything. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. I really am enjoying this. Like I said, this kind of future timeline of the possibility of what's going to happen, what happened to these Rangers. And I talked about it on the last issue or the last episode. These are the characters that I care about because when I was growing up, and these were the Rangers that I grew up with. Basically, I didn't latch on to the future cast or the everyone who came after these ones. These were my kind of core Rangers. So this is very interesting to me, and I really am enjoying what they're doing with this this future timeline here. Hello, Allison. Allison is a huge supporter of our channel, so we got to give a shout out.
Hi, Allison.
Allison, thank you very much.
Season's greetings, Allison.
But yeah, I'm just really enjoying everything that's going on right now in this kind of future timeline. And Tim, the revelation that we got, I remember you texted me and you're like, we finally get some answers in this issue. We finally figured out what's going on. And
answers. We learned what happened that day on the moon, which had been alluded to last issue. That that Tommy died and that they lost a lot of lives. I'm gonna before I get into that, I want to geek out over this moon battle. Because there are so many freaking monsters in this moon battle that I had to zoom in to catch them all. Pudgy Pig's there, King Sphinx is there, the Terror Toad, Poluticorn, Madam Woe's there. Yeah, see, I'm just, no pumpkin wrapper. I'm a little disappointed about that.
Which one did Bryan Cranston play?
That was the Snizzard.
Was he there? Was he?
Let me look at my issue.
The Snizzard.
I don't see Snizzard here in any of these panels.
Oh man, what a missed
opportunity. Ready to cook some blue Power Ranger crystals.
It's funny because the name of the last name of Billy's last name is Cranston, so that's funny.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, we got. I remember. Reading this issue, and I thought the entire issue was going to be the flashback because I read the synopsis prior to, and I thought the entire issue was going to be the flashback, which I would have been fine with. Like, yeah, see, there's shell shock right there. This another tangent. Like every time there's like these huge battles where lots of monsters are involved. The artists never disappoint. They always just put these huge splash pages with all these like cool Easter eggs to the history of Power Rangers, and it just makes my fan heart sing.
Yes.
But I thought the entire issue was going to be this flashback, which I would have been fine with. But then when we go back to the present, and like, okay, and I'm thinking, okay, so Kim is going to take Trini's niece under her wing. It's going to be a nice thing, and then she turns into freaking Rita clone, and I'm like, what? Like, what? I had to reread that part of the issue like 3 times. I'm like, did I miss something? Like, did that actually happen? And then when we get to it, and she's like, she says, "Who are you?" Like, was it said who she was? I mean, I'm guessing who she was. She just from things, but like, did it say? She's like, nope, it did not. And just things happening, and then we get the end reveal with Olivia Hart. That's her full name. That was revealed by Amy Jo Johnson a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
And, she's actually going to be the Green Ranger in this present timeline. She's going to be the Green Ranger, and she revealed some art and what that's going to look like. And so I'm excited, especially since the next issue is called Daughter. A nice showdown between Rita's daughter and Tommy and Kimberly's daughter, which they've set up because, Kimberly kills Rita, which that was a shock.
Yeah. And also, it just touching on that real quick. Tommy's like, there was no other way. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of other ways in that moment. I kept looking back at the pages, like scrolling back and forth. I'm like, let's see. Did she have to shoot a psionic pink arrow through her heart? No, I don't think that was the only option available to you, Pink Ranger. But okay.
Yeah. Well, Tommy has a unique perspective because he comes from a morally gray aspect.
That's true.
His past with Rita. And so I think he probably wanted to see her die anyway. But yeah, it was a real shock when that happened because it wasn't something I was expecting. And like everything that Tommy was saying leading up to this sacrifice was just killing me inside because of Jason David Frank's death. Everything that they do with Tommy that like is like super emotional, it like really hits me harder because of that. And yeah, it was just a fantastic issue. start to finish. Like lots of unexpected twists. I did not expect things to escalate this quickly. I mean, I guess you have to because it's only 4 issues, but still, I wasn't expecting it to move this fast.
Right. Yeah, I was in the same boat as you, and man, we already had kind of a spoiler with Dan Mora's cover for the Green Ranger, and when I saw that, I thought that was Kimberly at first when I first saw it, but now that we're seeing that it's the daughter, it was like, man, this fits in perfectly with everything that the series has been going towards, and I'm man, I wish we could get some Dan Mora art on here. That would be fantastic. No
Yeah.
shade to the current artist, but man, if we had some Dan Mora art on here, this comic would really cook.
So that it already is.
Did you know Dan Mora is
yeah.
actually the artist who designed the Return logo for the covers? So
Nice.
he does have some artistic influence in all of these
Yes.
issues. So
as well as like Tim said, the character designs,
yeah,
for the whole thing. It's like, man, he's got his stamp on here. But yeah, this is some great stuff that we're getting. Like Tim said, just kind of the character development, the family ties, the bonds between generations. This is hitting us like you, all three of us here, and then I'm sure you, listener or watcher of this is hitting us in our sweet spot because we've kind of aged with Kimberly. We've aged with the character, and where we're at in our lives right now is kind of similar to where she's at with her children, with her the next generation passing it on. And so, and we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, the first issue review that we did, where it was like Saved by the Bell, the new class, like the properties that go from generation to generation, and keeping the original guys, but then also trying to introduce new people as well. It's kind of a tricky balance between how do you satisfy the longtime fans and then how you satisfy new fans. So I like where they're going with this so far. Everything that we've seen is very interesting to me. And like Tim said, we're already halfway through this series. It's only 4 issues, and the timeline is kind of sped up where we have to get going. We really have to get, we have to move, and there isn't any time to kind of stop and collect ourselves. But I think they're going at a good pace so far, and the first 2 issues have been very satisfying to me, and I'm really enjoying what we're getting so far. Tim, is there anything that you're kind of anticipating, like you said, for Daughters and for the next issue, where we're going next? Is there anything that you're kind of thinking about?
It's called Daughters, and so obviously we're going to be getting more.
John Mayer will be there.
That was the first thing I thought about.
Father's bigger to your daughters.
And yeah, I'm glad we're pulling up the art here because I really like what Olivia's wearing here. She's wearing a green jacket that's got pink on it.
Yes.
Which, the color coordination of Power Ranger people has never been subtle.
Right. Yeah.
So it's fun to see that the art is keeping up with that.
Wouldn't you hate that? Like if you were picked to be a Power Ranger by Zordon and you just happen to be wearing a color shirt that you don't normally wear, and it was like laundry day, and you're like, I happen to be wearing the tan poop color shirt,
beige.
And then like you're the poop ranger now. You have to wear brown all the time.
see, and that's the thing. Is like, why didn't anybody ever clue into anything? Like, there's these group of 5 friends. They're all wearing red, blue, yellow, black, and pink, and green. And white by the time you get to this picture, like, why didn't anybody like? There's 6 Power Rangers, and they have these specific colors.
You're like, and Tommy switched to white. He's not wearing his green anymore. He brought all his green clothes to Goodwill. That's weird.
Crazy. It's funny though. In the episode where the Power Rangers actually appeared on a talk show, the host asked Tommy, who was as the White Ranger, he says, "Hey, White Ranger, I got a question for you. What happened to the Green Ranger?" And Tommy's just like, that's a long story.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this next issue. Looks like just a little under a month, April 10th, we're going to get issue 3 of Power Rangers: The Return. Shoff, anything you're looking forward to in the next issue?
Just more great art. There's a page 21. It's the page right before the last page, where Kimberly's about to morph, and she's like, "It's morphin' time, pterodactyl!" And then
that
she
was
gets
so
cut
cool.
off. I don't know if this has ever happened before, but in like the shot of her like planning to morph, you can see like the Rita wand like about to smack her, and I just loved it. It was such a great, it's already an action shot because we know that look so well. We've seen the morpher and all that stuff like a ton of times. Yeah, this art is so cool. So cool. And I don't know what her name is, but we'll just say Rita's daughter. No, I really don't think it is. It's not more than that. So just a brilliant writing, great art. Really looking forward to this. And it's really like playing off of my nostalgia. I read the 30th anniversary issue. I didn't love it, to be perfectly honest with you. I was pretty bored through a lot of it, with the exception of the prelude to what this is about. That was the only thing that really interested me. So I'm just looking forward to this, and I kind of am bummed to know that this is only a 4-part series, and I hope that there's something that continues this story along.
So, like a one shot like they did with Spider-Man Life Story. Like that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I would really enjoy that. And I would really enjoy if you would join us again for our next episode where we talk about Power Rangers The Return. But also, if you're into a lot of comics that are coming out, we are talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. We're talking about Ultimate X-Men, which Shoff did not enjoy. If you want to hear Shoff get upset, if you want to hear him get angry, you got to listen to our Ultimate X-Men talk. We had a great time talking there, but we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of comics here on This Comic Cooks, and we would love it. We would be honored if you would join us.